Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video, and holy crap, we got a lot more information about the Classic Plus survey. A viral post is going on Reddit, and it looks like the survey is real. There are some concerns about it, but I'm super stoked to share this with you and really break down every single thing instead of having to translate a French video and talk about it. But before we get in the video, guys, I got the new PC yesterday, and holy crap, it is amazing. I just want to thank everyone who donated, everyone who watched the video, everyone who used their Prime sub, everyone who's done essentially anything to support me and the channel. We bought an amazing PC, and I can't wait to create all kinds of content, make better streams for you guys, and just take it to the next level. So I genuinely appreciate all the love, support, and everything you guys have given me. So without further ado, let's dive into this Classic Plus survey. So we're going to switch it over here. So this is the original Reddit post. As you can see, it's going pretty viral. Most of you have probably seen it by now, and there's just a bunch of screenshots right here of these iterations of the game. And just obviously we're not going to dive into Reddit comments because it's always a bit crazy down there, but really cool to see this. So we're going to dive into each of the pictures here and really talk about it. I guess dark mode doesn't really work for this, but anyway, this is the question that it's either the first or last question. We're undetermined because the OP did not really put in any info on this, but regardless of which version of WoW is your current main version, what version of WoW do you think will become your main version in the future once Classic Mists of Pandaria ends? So Classic Era with my Mists of Pandaria characters. So that's very interesting that they would send them back in time to Era. That'd be very weird. A different version of Classic without my Mists of Pandaria characters, that's more likely, like TBC, Wrath, wherever it's at. Retail or Modern WoW with my Mists of Pandaria characters, that would be cool, especially if you get to merge your collection logs. Wrath of the Lich King Classic or an earlier expansion with my Mists characters. The whole with and without my Mists characters is interesting to me because, like, I don't know how you send them backwards, right? Like, if they can send them backwards, what do they get? Like a baseline boosted level gear? Do they get epics from XYZ tier? It's just really weird to send all that gold, all that economy, and for later gear into it. Like, that has to be challenging. A permanently Classic Warlords of Janor, if it becomes available. So that means they are either thinking about it or skipping it, or like they haven't confirmed they're doing it. So that's very interesting. A permanently frozen Mists of Pandaria Classic round with no further updates. That would be pretty cool, I guess. I do not plan on continuing WoW after the end of Classic MOP. So very interesting question. I would probably pick a different version of Classic without my MOP characters, just because I feel like that's essentially what I'm doing right now, even with MOP or that seems like, you know, starting fresh or like going to the new place. It'd be weird to move them all there. That or retail with your MOP characters would be very fitting. Then we have just thank you. Now we'd like to ask you what kind of features you would see in a new hypothetical version of Classic WoW. We're testing multiple concepts, ideas that have come from many different places, including prior survey feedback like yours. Not all ideas you see here are actually under consideration at this time, but your feedback helps us understand what gamers just like you would like to see from World of Warcraft Classic, and sometimes, more importantly, what you wouldn't want to see. We ask that you please keep everything in the survey confidential so that we can continue to ask players like you feedback on our games and make your experience better for those in the future. So we are now going to go over to here. The very first question, playable shamans on the Alliance side. So do you want Alliance shamans? I was a big advocate and saw to give us dwarf shamans and undead pallies. However, that's only because in SOD there were tons of changes to those classes. So mine kind of correlates with the changes that they do. So if we're getting these classic changes to these to Alliance, to Paladin and Shaman, like if they become different versions, then I would be for those. If it's not different versions, I do not I want them to stay exclusive. So that's where I stand on that, because I think there is something beautiful about that exclusivity that we see in Classic, because it's literally nowhere else. Like after TBC, it becomes both of them on both sides. Collections, a UI based storage system for pets, mounts, toys. So that's the collection tab. I'm all for the collection tab as long as the mounts. The mounts is where it becomes a problem. Like, I'm fine with it from any cosmetic quality of life, I will be fine with, because cosmetics give a reward structure, it gives replayability, it allows people to collect things, and as we've seen in retail, that is a great system. And most importantly, collections and transmogs and stuff like that allow them to monetize the game without having a WoW token or compromising gameplay ability. And I think that is very important for Blizzard to do when we talk about Classic Plus. If we want a Classic Plus to be developed, like expansions for it even, it needs to make money more than just the subs, as we see with the retail model on WoW for 20 years. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Account-wide collections. So like I said, same answer as just a collections. The mounts is the important part. So like mounts in Classic have to stay how they are. Like earning your mount at 40 is a huge achievement. Earning it at 60 is a huge achievement. Do not homogenize that. Like, make people have to earn it and get it, and then they have to spend that gold to unlock their mount collection part of that tab. But pets, everything else, I don't really care. 1v1 duel arenas, absolutely add this. This would give PvP people to do it. Let people bet on it. Like, if there's a way to put a betting system in there, let people bet on it, because players are going to do that anyway. So just like actually put money on it, very similar to the dueling arena in OSRS. That'd be freaking amazing, and something that's really, really cool. New player character models similar to those used for World of Warcraft and Modern WoW. I actually hate the Modern WoW. It looks really weird and cartoony, but that could just be my classic brain. Like, I don't know, the aesthetic just feels like almost anime in retail, and I really like the old ones more than the new ones. Some of the new ones look cool, but I don't know. I just feel it just feels out of place. But like I said, that could be my classic brain. In-game events, new events that offer different small quests and casual gameplay around the world. These would release between large updates. Yeah, I'm absolutely for in-game events. I think they knocked it out of the park with the ones in SOD. Obviously, some of them weren't the best, but they did do really, really well and had a lot of gameplay and fun that people did. So I think it would be a really cool. Thing. The Ashen Vale event was a great way to open up SOD. Then the Blood Moon was fun the first week, or for Phase 2, but having it for Phase 3, 4, 5, 6, as long as it's been there, it's kind of boring at this point, but it's a great idea, and they did a really good job. The fact it still withstands the test of time now and is a multi-phasal event is really cool to see. Then the Blackrock Mountain one, that was alright. They needed to put in the Graveyard Ghost thing from the Blood Moon event way, way, way quicker, but all in all, I liked them inside. I think it would be a cool thing for people to go and do. Pet battles, sure. Like, I don't. I have dabbled in it. I did it in original MoP because I like Pokemon. Once again, it's just something for people to do to collect like cool cosmetic rewards. As long as it's just cosmetic rewards and it's not tied to power and it's not tied to anything like that, I really don't care if pet battles are in there one way or another. The people who want to do it, like if it attracts a player to the game who might not have been there, by all means. And I don't think any classic player is gonna quit or freak out because pet battles are in the game. Leveling profession improvements, ability to make more usable gear for yourself as you level and be able to craft it at level appropriate trade skill levels. So just new recipes and patterns. I'm all for that. I think that is a pretty good change, and I don't see it really affecting it as long as we don't ruin some exclusivity, like Robe of Power, the Dreamweave stuff. That is something that's really fun to farm and go out there and get, especially when you're one of the first people at those level points on a fresh server. So as long as like it's usable gear, but not like super crazy. Like, I still love those mid-game epic journey items that you have to go and farm and get, and you don't just buy it off the AH for XYZ gold. Some of those are really, like, they feel so satisfying, especially from like a hardcore solo self-found mode. When you do that, really cool. New classes ability New class abilities and spells. So that is very, very, very interesting. Having playing Sod and love Sod and everything we did with Sod, I do think Sod went too far with the abilities. My perfect world is making all specs viable, and Sod did a great job of balancing that, but without destroying PvP. I want people to be able to play things, but they don't have to have every ability from the future. They don't need to have so many. I think Sod went too far with the rune system and trying to like they needed to add rune slots, so they needed to add abilities, so they needed to do that. And we're out here doing Wrath of the Lich King DPS at level 60. So it's kind of ridiculous how high up we got with Sod. But it is, it's just scaling numbers, like just a numbers game. It's not that crazy. But I like classic. I like the low numbers. I like the deep, like I like where classic sits, and I think Sod went too far. I think there's a great middle ground you can find where you can make stuff like Shadow Priest, Elisham, Boomkin, Druids, just Druids in general, Paladins as well, Shamans. Like, you can make all their specs viable, and I would love, love, love to see the new specs and roles be brought over. So like tank Shaman, tank Warlock, healing Mage, even tank rogue, but they need their own channel tree, because that tank rogue has been such a blunder in Sod. It's either really, really good or really bad, and there's been no in between. So give them their own talent tree. Anyway, let's go to the next one. So honor rewards redesign. So move honor rewards away from the original WoW model and towards a more seasonal model where the honor rewards are more added to coincide with new PvP raid tier updates. That's an interesting concept. I honestly, I don't feel qualified to answer because I've only gotten to rank 7 at the highest in the original system, and then rank 10 with the Never Decay system. But that is just something that is really, really hard to sort of, it's just hard to nail. Like, it's just really hard to pinpoint whether that would be good or not. I get what they're saying. So, like, in Sod, for example, people, I just gave up on PvP. Like, they hit their rank 14 at 8Q, and no one's had a reason to PvP since. And we got Nax gear, we got Scarlet Enclave gear, and that has just sort of, like, it's just kind of sat there, and there hasn't been PvP, and the PvPers and people who are actually PvPing have been begging for some PvP, and they just aren't doing it. It just really sucks. So I could see where they're coming from with that. And we also see the anniversary AV simulator where people are just nonstop going into AV, and it's just really, really weird to sort of see that behavior. And so this would nip both those in the butt and hopefully make it a way that people could PvE to get gear or PvP to get gear, because what's beautiful about Classic is how intertwined the PvE and PvP systems are. But once again, it's just how far are we gonna go, and how far is it gonna reach until we just simply get retail within Classic in the Classic Azeroth, and that's something that's like, I don't know. The WoW token, a secure way for players to exchange gold for game time or BattleNet balance. So honestly, as if we see an anniversary situation, if we see people just nonstop buying gold, then put it in. Like, that is their solution, and you guys earn it. Like, I would want an active tracker at the top of the thing and be like, here's XYZ 100k people banned for buying gold. When we reach 100k, the WoW token gets introduced, because there's a massive gold buying problem. People do it like crazy. Anniversary economy is completely and utterly obliterated, like a nuke dropped on it, because of gold buying. And you can say, oh, it's bots. Why don't they ban bots? Sure, they could do that, but at the end of the day, you have to not buy gold. If you're buying gold, put the WoW token in. And that's how I feel about it. It's their solution. Might as well make it mainstream so everyone can do it. If you want your GDKP, if you want your gold buying, if you want all your economy to be IRL money, then put it full send it, and it's your fault. Classic talent adjustments, streamlining and improving talent trees to make weaker specializations and classes more viable while still maintaining the overall feel of Classic. Absolutely. That is what I was saying earlier. Absolutely, 1000% throw that in there. But don't ruin PvP in the process. That's the most important part. We need to maintain PvP balance as well. A system to allow you to gather points and spend them on account-wide bonuses such as quality of life convenience, encouraging playing alts, or specializing in specific activities. So I'm not... That seems too far personally, but like I just don't know what that exactly means. Like, are we talking like be able to, like, you complete your Oni attunement, be able to buy the BOA Oni attunement neck? I think that has some merit because Oni attunement's really obnoxious on the Horde, and you just hit a point where no one's doing Test of Skulls, so it can be really challenging and bothersome. However, I don't really that one I'm not entirely sure on. I would need to see the perks to give an exact answer. Playable High Elves, a playable high race for the Horde and the Alliance, so similar to Pandas. I'm for that, actually. I think the problem with Horde is like it's a whole bunch of ugly monsters, and no one wants to play that. So it allows Horde to have a pretty race like High Elves. It allows all the Alliance players to like, Blood Elves should be Alliance, and a storyline that they've sort of played out a lot in retail. It allows that to switch over there and become really cool. So yeah, I'm definitely for that. I think it could be a cool little concept. What'll be really interesting is like that could be the vessel to give people Alliance Shaman and Horde Paladins as well, which would be really, really cool. Visiting zones, or revisiting known but unexplored zones, absolutely. Hyjal, Odom, Gilneas, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Put that in, 1000%. We've been asking for this all of SOD. I want those. I literally don't even care what they're used for. I just want to go there, see new things, have a lot of fun. The sky's the limit. Please make that freaking amazing. Then player housing, instance personalized housing for players and guilds. Honestly, that is the most exciting feature that I'm looking forward to in the near future. Like in these next 6 months, having done MOP, having done TBC before, Midnight and the player housing and what I saw from those videos, that actually has me the most excited as a Classic player. Been playing Classic for the past 5 years. I dabble in retail a little bit, but honestly, the player housing has me most excited. So if they brought it to Classic and it worked really cool, it just has that community feel, and it could be really awesome. Even if it's just guild housing, you know, all your guildies can just sit there, hang out, design things. You know, you add achievements to raids, like do Onyxia with 5 people, and you unlock putting Onyxia's head in the middle of your town hall. I don't want to say town hall because that's like garrisons, but as long as it's not like garrisons and it's like retail and like the neighborhoods and stuff, that would be one retail system that I think would be really amazing to just straight up port over and put in, like just 1-to-1, put it in. It has me excited. It's just, it'd be weird, but the more and more we go, the further away we get from Classic. We can't just put everything from retail in the Classic world and call it Classic. I think that we need to have important distinctions there. Achievements, a system to track milestones and accomplishments. Absolutely, put it in. It becomes a thing, I think, in TBC or Wrath. But it allows, like, so many people go out there and collect them. I know people who had them all on retail and then they went and did them all again on Classic. I was like, that's crazy grass. I personally didn't do that because I had them all in retail and did not want to do it again. Cross round play. I'm actually no on this. I think that completely obliterates the Classic idea. So I'm actually against cross-round play. I think there is something to be said for communities of people on servers, even if they're just big mega servers. Honor system. So this gets cut off, but a ground-up redesign of the honor system, removing the, I guess, the hard decay and stuff like that. Here it is. A ground-up redesign of the honor system, removing the hard honor cap, making the system more evergreen and continually engaging. Like I said, that depends on what they need to add, what they need to do, what they need to change. It's like I would want to see the system and what ideas we have before greenlighting it, because the Classic, like, Yeah, we have a problem with anniversary. We have a problem on SOD. Like, people are just like, rank 14's too good that it's mandatory and everyone has to do their 2-month AV jail, or we have a situation like SOD where we get to AQ and then for the next 6 months no one has any reason to do honor and go after it, and PvP just kind of dies. So there are some key issues that this could address, but I'd like to see it and know more before saying yes or no. War mode, yes, 1000% yes. Put everyone on one mega server, have war mode on. That would be perfect. Like, so many, like, it allows, like, we see problems so many times, and that we've seen this since 2019 in Classic, is everyone goes to the PvP server, one faction wins, they have to send them off, and then they send them off to a different server. And then even more, even on the PvE server, we're seeing this in SOD, the Horde is just dead on the PvE server. Like, Horde is lively on Crusader Strike, and that is it. On Wild Growth NA, the Horde is just completely gone and evaporating. So even like, we're even seeing that problem on PvE servers. So having one mega server for everyone to be on with war mode, because the PvP players could just turn on war mode and go PvP. The PvE players could literally just avoid it. You avoid all the griefing, all the toxicity. You avoid it all because you can just have war mode off. So you would truly see who actually likes to PvP and who does not in a Classic world. And I think that answer would surprise a lot of you. So it'd just be really interesting. And you could incentivize war mode. You could give them more XP. You could give them more things like that. I think I'm a big fan of war mode after seeing how devastating people can take the griefing in PvP. I've played on a PvP server the entire time. I know a lot of people who love ganking and just being villains and menaces to society are going to be against that. But people literally layer off right now, right? Like, they're just going to layer off and go about their day in a different layer without you there. So, like, it's not that different from what people are already doing and how they're behaving. And how all the new stuff was camped in Season of Discovery just really goes to show me another reason why I'd love to see war mode. Brand new zones, absolutely, yes. Any new zones, any new dungeons, any new raids, any new everything, yes, 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 to the max, 1000%. Throw them in there. Unique, even if they're unique lore added to Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor, absolutely. As long as they fit the story, as long as they're within that photograph frame, an area that was there that we didn't get to explore. You know, there's so many unused just areas sitting there that we could do something with, and I'm all absolutely for that, 1000%. Then we have 20-player raids, new 20-player raid-focused dungeons, absolutely all for that. 40-player raids, honestly, with 20, like, I want new raids, but at the same time, I want to see, I really like the SOD system, or a flex system. Like, that has been such a godsend, and it has helped so many more runs and guilds and things happen in Season of Discovery. Whether you do an actual true flex rating, or you do a 20 but 40. I like the 20, like, scaled for 20 allows 40, because then the sweaty people who want to parse and go there and do that and crank, they get the ability to lock their raids at 20, and then all the casuals who can't clear it, struggle, maybe have a community guild and have too many people, like, you can have 30-man raids. I'm doing like around 30 for all my runs here on SOD, because like, if a DPS doesn't show up, it's not the end of the world. I need my tanks, I need my healers, and I need my feral druids on SOD. That's what I need. Everyone else is, if you don't show up, if you can't make it, if there's something, like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world if they miss a raid. I don't have to cannibalize or field an active bench, and I think it has worked amazing in SOD. So I really like that system and have seen it work firsthand, but I'm also a guild leader. I also run my community. I also do all that, so that could be where it's coming from. Graphical improvements to lighting, shadows, and surface reflection. Use modern technology to improve the lighting engine and game for more realistic light, shadows, reflection. Well, now that I have this new PC, absolutely, crank that up to the 10. Hell yeah. But I don't see a problem with that, as long as you can always, like, because it is Classic, as long as there's always a setting to go back and make it look like Classic for the people who want it to be Classic. With all of these lighting, cosmetic, visual, graphics changes, as long as people can have the choice to make it look like Classic, because that is the game they want, they love, they yearn for, then I am okay with that. It's just I don't want to force players into this retailized version of the game. I want people to have their choice and be able to play the game how they want with the classic infrastructure still in there. So as long as we can do that and have that choice, I think it is really good. New trade skill, new primary and secondary professions. That would be really interesting to see. As long as it's not just like jewel crafting and inscription, I'd be cool with that. I don't really like. I think classic is fine without jewel crafting and inscription. I would like to see if you come up with a new one and put it in there. Absolutely. Like if we get player housing and you go with a lumberjack for gathering and construction for making furniture and cool things with your guild housing, that'd be awesome. I'm totally not stealing that from RuneScape, so completely original idea right there. But as long as it's new, but we literally haven't got a new primary profession since Inscription and Wrath. So yeah, I don't know. Whatever they got, full send it, and it'd be cool. But I don't really just want jewel crafting and inscription and archaeology in here. I would like to see some new ones. Graphical texture improvements and resolution upgrade. Yep, all four of those as long as people still have their classic art style. New battleground, why not? Give us that Ajar creator. People want it. It's been lost to time. Let's see what you guys can do with it. New race and class combinations. I wonder what they mean here. Yes, give us Undead Paladin. Yes, give us Dwarf Shaman. But only do it if you are changing the classes. Like they have to be changed and made in a unique way to add this there. Do not just do not put them in if they are going if nothing changes with them and they just kind of sit there the same way. Then we have new class. World of Warcraft classes that are completely new to any version of World of Warcraft, not Death Knights, Monks, Demon Hunters, Invokers. So that would be very, very interesting. I'm not sure what they have in store for that, what would be that, but like a bard, a tinkerer, something like that would be pretty cool. I just don't know what they have. Like it'd be cool, but like I just don't know what we would put in, where it would be, and how well it would fit into classic. That's more like that's where we get a little too close to retail there with that, but maybe it could be fun. I don't know. Then we have the next one, new. So all of these, and then 10-player raids, new 10-player focus. Like I said, I just like the bring this many people and flex thing. It allows for so much variability and everyone be able to do things. Cross-realm guilds, no, I don't like cross-realm guilds or cross-realm that. I would prefer the one mega server with war mode, then everyone's already on the same stuff. Transmogrification. So yes, I want transmog, and here's why transmog is great. Because it allows them to monetize the game without compromising game integrity like the WoW token does. So it allows, you can put it in, you can look there at this, like there is so much gear attrition, guys. You've seen all the tier, like tier 3 isn't special anymore. Like you see it in SOD, you see it in there, you see it everywhere. Like it's really not special. Everyone knows what's BIS, everyone goes after BIS. Like no one's wearing anything unique anymore. It's lost its flair, it's lost its flavor, it's lost this amazing, oh my god, you did that. Like all you anniversary players, you get an oh my god, you're rank 14. Does anyone do that? Does anyone say nice gear that looks amazing? No one does that anymore. It's not special anymore. It's not cool. So transmog would be great because it would allow them to monetize all sorts of different things, allow them to change the game in a beautiful way, and allow them to monetize the cosmetic side of things. Once again, you put that in with the collection log, it allows them to monetize, make money, and avoid WoW token, avoid gold buying, avoid those systems that just rot the game to oblivion. And then the final one, playable paladins on the horde side. So you know what's really funny is that you could vote. So like you could vote for, you could say, yep, give us shamans on the alliance, but nope, we don't want horde side paladins. So that would just be really interesting and funny to see people do. But Anyway, guys, we are at the end of this video. It was an absolute blast to sort of cover this survey. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, opinions, cover it all, talk about it, and yeah, until next time, guys, I will see you later. But that was such a great survey. I truly hope that this is real. The only thing that makes me think it's not real is it looks like it's on his phone, and we don't see the extremely dislike, extremely agree, neutral, somewhat like, somewhat disagree bubbles. Like, we don't actually see the bubbles, we just see the prompts. So like that gives me cause for concern that it might not be real, but other than that, it really does look real and authentic. So anyway, I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye bye.